So, I mean, that's the lifestyle. And I'll tell you what's interesting. And I'm going to point this out because I have been very vocal about the quote unquote poly lifestyle for a very long time. Sam, can you go dig up the link for my was it my polyamory ones? I forget the name of it now. Problem with poly, it might be that. But anyways, I have some very choice articles, essays that I wrote right around 2018, and they were really in response to Jack. I knew that Jack. Well, there came a point where everyone at the 21 convention knew that Jack Murphy was at least previously, if not currently, still in a cuckolded, in the lifestyle, in the kink lifestyle, or whatever the fuck he was on. He putting purple up his ass. Still, and I didn't know about the videos until later. I only knew he was writing blogs about like how secure in his masculinity he was because he let his girlfriend, who was much younger than he is, also go out on Tinder dates and bang other guys, and how it was a strange source. I think it was the title of it, a strange source of let's see if I can find this strange source of masculinity. And where'd it go? Do I have that in here? I might still have a screenshot of that. It's been since purged. I do. It's since been purged, but I will be happy to show this to you. Where'd it go? This was the original article from Jack Murphy. Just so you know, just to give you a little bit of frame of reference here. This was the Jack Murphy article that got purged. You might be able to find this on like Wayback Machine or something like that. But let's see, where is it? There we go. There you go. Cultivating erotic energy from a surprising source. Let's see if I can blow this up for you. This was the Jack Murphy article, the infamous one that was referred to on Sydney Watson's show. Well, the now defunct show, You Are Here, that I happened to be on the week before. Let's see. Here we go. Today, I sent my adoring, loyal, hot, young girlfriend of 2 years. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Okay. She is currently of 2 years to have sex with a stranger from Tinder. She is currently at his apartment, checked in with me via text, and is presumably sucking and her way to a good time. I'm alone writing. Couldn't be happier.
Well, I'm a whore.
Now, before you write me off as another salon.com freak who wants to be a cuckold for someone of spineless beta or some kind of spineless beta under male, hear me out. This has been a long road. Well, I'll bet it has. My manhood is intact and my is hard. I'm almost 40. Years ago, after my divorce from my blue pill marriage, I found Royce Rouge and eventually Rational Male. Along the way, I made friends with Cernovich. That's Mike Cernovich, by the way, who is also very anti-red pill these days. And we came up together in the game. Gotcha. I've learned and practiced tantra. I hope I'm saying that. Tantra sex. No, dude, you shove up your ass and you have with younger guys. Various elements of the BDSM lifestyle and just about every angle, pun intended, for male-female relations. Yeah. He's an emphasis on the male side too. From experience, effort, and education, I've become an expert. Yeah. I learned over time how my natural disposition to be is to be dominant. For submissive women, I'm practically an ideal. I've had sex slaves, girls, tied them up. Feminists seek me out to them like the patriarchy, and yet I just sent my 15-year junior girlfriend to bang Matt from Tinder. Why? Well, I can't keep going. That's just the screen cap. So if you guys were ever wondering, well, what is he talking about? The infamous cuck article. There you have it, live on the Rational Male. And I remember having those conversations with Jack Murphy back in the day, because I was talking, because from just a practical standpoint, when I was talking about polyamory, I always think like the people who are into it, like quite honestly, I think it's really a beta male mating strategy is what it ends up being for the most part, because it usually is one, because who gets like of the two sexes, who can make polyamory work the best? Usually women, because they have more sexual selectivity than the guy. And I will, in fact, I will back that up here in just a moment. But so when I was going through all this stuff, I would have, and if you look at my older tweets from like 2018, 2019, whenever I found a, let's see if I can find that. Hold on a second. Whenever I found an article on poly, let's see if I can grab this. Pretty sure I have it. Oh, there it is. Paternity, promiscuity, and poly. Is that one? Is that the one I was looking for? Ah, here it is. Perfect. If you want to see this, in fact, I'll put it in the chat here so you can see it. There you go. This was from, let's see, 2019, June 27th, 2019. I'm just going to show you the picture of my lead-in picture of this because this was a collage that I actually had to put together at the time. I was having these debates with Jack Murphy at that time, as well as Jeff Miller, Dr. Jeffrey Miller, who he and his wife Diana Fleischman would go on shows and just like sing the praises of polyamory. And I thought it was the height of like cognitive dissonance for a guy like Jeff Miller, because this guy knows the power of like mate guarding. He knows that jealousy as an emotion is an evolved adaptation. Like guys get jealous because the guys that got jealous and mate guarded their wives were the ones who went on to breed and they had passed that gene and that propensity onto their offspring, right? So when we get jealous, like I think what's interesting is and I brought this up at the time, and I'm actually brought this up just recently. When we look at jealousy and we look at mate guarding, at least in the male sense, I'm going to talk about men. We can do the flip side for women here in just a second. But when we talk about mate guarding and we talk about jealousy is an emotion. It's a triggered emotion. Like when guys get jealous or when there's been infidelity or there's a boundary that's been crossed, men will ask women, where did you fuck him? Was it in the kitchen? Was it in our bed? Does he have a bigger than me? Did you like, I mean, they want all of the details, and women are like, why do you want the details? Oh my gosh, you're making me relive it again. Like, yeah, but the reason why guys fixate on that is because they want to know if the baby that comes out of that womb is his. That's why, because it's a failure to have protected her from like an interloper. And that mate guarding instinct and that jealousy instinct that in some, like we looked at it right just this last week with Hunter Avallone's girlfriend's ex-boyfriend coming in and self-deleting and trying to delete her before he did. And that's just one example of many, but that's the most recent sort of like in your face example that we've had just in the last couple of days. That is mate guarding. That is jealousy. If I can't have her, no one can. That's where it came down. That's what it comes down to. Men care about whether or not their DNA, their investment in that woman is going to pay off dividends in the child that comes out of her, and their DNA is going to go off into perpetuity. That's really what the nuts and bolts of it right there. Oh, it's emotion. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's toxic masculinity. Oh, no, it's not. It's simple math is what it is. I need to know that the baby that comes out of your womb is my fucking kid. Because if I don't, and I invest, like I showed you, like we were just looking at that one video of that guy on the intro here. That's a guy who basically got caught, or the woman got caught anyways. But the guy who basically got caught in the trap, in a baby trap, and paid the price for it and invested in it. Thank you for that. The polyamorous stuff. Oh, good. Did I get that? Paternity, promiscuity, and poly. I've already brought it up. Thank you. I see you in the direct mail. So where does mate guarding come from? Where does jealousy come from? Well, it comes because guys need to know that the baby is theirs. That's really what it boils down to. And people don't like to hear this because they were really upset when I wrote about this in Substack recently. But like I propose that there's a school of thought, let's just say, that organisms are basically vehicles to pass on DNA. DNA is it. That is the you want to pedestalize the DNA. Your purpose on life in this world is to survive and to fuck. And that's really what it boils down to. Why is the fucking part important? Because that's the way you pass on your DNA into the next life. You will die. The vehicle will decay. Not, this vessel was not built to last. The only thing immortal about yourself will be your DNA. And that's what gets passed on. And there's a really kind of vicious, like deterministic school of thought right now. And I believe in this as some sort of philosophy? No, I don't. But I understand the mechanics behind it. It's like very selfish gene, mechanics here. But the mechanics behind all of this is that you are simply like human beings, dogs, cats, fish, whatever. You're just a vehicle to pass on what will remain on this planet. What will be immortal is your DNA in some combined form, let's just say, right? And that's why guys, because if you don't solve your reproductive problem, you go extinct and your DNA line dies. That's why, and this is me again, this is the Royal Tomasi opinion once again. This is why I believe that like when women don't want a man's last name, what they're saying is, I don't want the designation of whatever his genes are to be attached to my children, because that's sort of what it is. That's what a bastard child and everything. People don't want the name, because a last name, a surname, is really the designator or the designation that we apply to our own DNA. So if a woman says, I don't know, I'm going to keep my last name. I'm a lawyer. I don't know. I'm a brand myself. I'm not going to take his last name, yada, yada, yada. Or I'm going to hyphenate, like it's a half measure. I'm going to hyphenate my last name. Or we're going to combine our last names. Or it's patriarchal and it means ownership and everything. No, it is a designator for that man's DNA. His DNA is called Tomasi. His DNA is called John Smith, right? Whatever it is. And if the woman who's going to bear your children will not take your last name, that should be a huge, like, much bigger red flag than anything else, I think. Anyways, that, again, me spitballing my opinion. So coming back to the mate guarding thread here, is important. The DNA, knowing that the kid's going to be yours, is important. That's why guys fixate on the nuts and bolts, right? Fixate on the visceral side of it. Who are you fucking? How did you fuck him? Did you get off? Blah, 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 blah. Women, on the other hand, will say, are you in love with her? Do you have an emotional connection with her? That's why when we talk about infidelity, what's infidelity today? What even qualifies as infidelity, especially in a post-marriage society? We're finding out right now. Apparently the boundary for infidelity in Destiny's marriage is hooking up with this guy. Where'd it go? There it is. It's hooking up with Harry Styles. That's infidelity. That's a bridge too far. That's just, I'm done. I'm out. Quote, I'm out. If that's what's going to make you leave, this is the extreme that you to leave. Now, yes, I know there's going to be so many people in the comments. Trust me, we're coming up on the good part. I promise you. But the long and the short of it is that the designation of his DNA is, not being carried through. And then the reason guys get down to the nitty gritty is because that's what their primary interest is. For women, it's, did you fall in love? Am I going to lose my investment? So when women say, like, that's one of the reasons why, and I think this is a David Buss thing, but one of the reasons why women will forgive infidelity in men far, far easier than men will forgive women is because if he's not in love with her and it was just a one-time thing, or they were just fucking, and there's no children that were produced out of it or anything like that, and that woman's like investment in that guy is not threatened, then women are much more likely to share a successful alpha than to be saddled with the faithful beta.